The Democrats, they thought they were.
All right, peeps, we are live again. I did the other one on Facebook. I'm doing this one on my great task force software. And hopefully many of you are still up like I am, not going anywhere. Let me turn this down. There is a huge amount of news that I got to give my friend. We waiting for this to break anyway, but I got to give my friend Noah Trister some credit. So the results, they're not reported by the networks yet, but this is via Nate Silver because we're waiting on Milwaukee to come in. They just got the computers, they're coming in, and this is a big shift and could really change where we're at and where we're going, and it could have changed it on the other side too. Biden is now 20,000 plus in Wisconsin. That he was down, I think it was 100,000 so. He is now up 20,000. And I got another update here from Nate Cohen via the New York Times, who's, by the way, their needle. You've heard me talk about this all night. The New York Times needle is as accurate as anything I've ever seen in the last two elections. They only had 3 needle states this year, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. But in 2016, it was completely accurate when Trump flipped everything. And I think it's accurate with Georgia because Atlanta's Fulton County and a couple others around very heavily Democratic areas are left, and Trump's about $100,000 or so in Fulton or in Georgia. Then we're not going to know Georgia probably till the morning. But Nate Cohen just tweeted this or posted this and said, I don't think people have fully internalized how democratic these mail and absentee ballots will be in Michigan, where I'm at, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. It's close, but the ballots overwhelmingly blue. And like I said, we just got news via 538. Maybe Nate Silver's got better sources in the networks. I mean, he works for ABC. Biden is up 20,000 votes right now in Wisconsin. And Arizona is basically, I mean, it's been called by most networks, but it's not official. Nevada's about to be called soon. Hawaii just got called for Biden. If somehow the Biden campaign comes back and wins in Georgia, which is looking definitely, it's not like a lock or anything, but there's 8% of the vote back or left. And the New York Times needle telling you it's not my software, but whatever they have there is insanely accurate. Biden 64% right now. But here we go. Yep, here we go. So I just want to, they're going to live on MSNBC here. I want to check this out. Okay, so Biden has the lead now with 89% in Wisconsin.
Of the city of Milwaukee absentee vote. You can see that it has now been reported.
Okay, so he's got a 20,000 vote lead. That's where we're at in Wisconsin. Yep, so just to kind of set the stage here as we've been talking throughout, I did a live hour-and-a-half show or so a little while ago. We've obviously got Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia. In some ways, Arizona. I think Arizona's definitely basically gone Biden. Fox called it a long time ago. They have the analytics. I know the AP called it. I think that's done. So now it comes to the Midwest, the upper Midwest. If Biden ends up winning Georgia and he ends up winning Wisconsin, the election's over. That's where we're at right now. Now that's if Georgia flips. If somehow Trump holds on, and that's definitely a possibility, he's up 100,000. But a ton of Democratic leading counties are still out there. There was a pipe burst near Atlanta. There was another issue. No balance damage, but that's huge Democratic numbers. Let's see where we're at. Hold on.
We have a little bit. This is a Republican county here. One of those wow.
All right, so it's going to be very close to Wisconsin. But the bottom line is this: if Nevada, which hasn't been called yet, goes to Biden, and likely will, Arizona already was called. Maine's out there, but it looks like that's going to go. The majority of them, they split it congressional-wise, will go to Biden. He would need just one Midwest state. That's why, when we talked about, we don't want to make this partisan, but why the president, whether you support him or not, should not have gone out and said and claimed victory. He's been rebuked by all the major news organizations in the world. I mean, I point you to this, which is crazy, that we had to see a news organization and many actually other ones had to do this. This is from the USA Today. It's not like a left-leaning or right-leaning thing. It's pretty neutral. Earlier tonight when Trump came out and claimed victory, it said their breaking news alert, despite securing only 1,213 electoral votes of the necessary 270, President Trump prematurely declares victory. He has not won the election. That's from a news organization. It's just so crazy what world we're living in right now. But anyway, we want to have a discussion. I'm not going to bed. I think there's a chance we might know this not in 2 or 3 days, or it might take 2 or 3 days. I don't know. But I will tell you this, and a Facebook user talking about Wayne County. I just checked with sources via my news station and some others. The turnout in Wayne County is, at least from what they're saying, 20% better than it was in 2016. That's very good if you're a Joe Biden fan. Trump went Stewie from Family Guy. But I'm just going to point back to the New York Times needle. It is not 100% accurate, but I'm telling you, I love politics. I was on election night 4 years ago on 97.1, and I watched the needle all night long go from Hillary, 70% to 65 to Trump even money or 50-50 to all the way to like Trump at 88% when they called it around. What was it? 2 a.m, whatever time that was. And that needle, man, a few hours ago, 3-4 hours ago now, went from very likely or likely Trump to toss up to leaning Biden. Georgia, as I've said, the internal Democrats, as far as their polling went, Biden campaign, they felt they had a much better chance in Georgia than Texas. And some of the media thought it was the other way around. I also want to read this for you from the New York Times, Nate Cohen. This is from 9 minutes ago. This is vaguely reminiscent of 11 p.m. in 2016, but in reverse and in slow motion. Biden's the narrow favorite in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and it could take a while. The same thing happened last time when Trump was the small favorite. So it's just fascinating. I love this stuff. I think election day is like the Super Bowl and the Final Four and the World Series all wrapped into one. I know many of you have been up all night. Would love to talk to you guys. And just like I said, let's keep it nonpartisan. It's not about, if you're a huge Trump guy or a huge Biden guy. Let's just talk about where we're at factually. And we did this earlier, and 98% of you did exactly that. Because I want to talk about it. I love this stuff. But it's not about I love Trump or I love Biden or I hate Trump or I hate Biden. Let's just talk about where we're at factually. Don Swindell, my man, is weighing in. Georgia would be a sweet win for the Democrats. Joe Biden has a 3-tech lead in Wisconsin. Please, no soft zone, no prevent. I'm with you. So let's see, Kenosha.
I believe it's in Kenosha, it's what we just saw in Milwaukee. It's the absentee vote that they're doing at a separate facility.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's trending. This is not my. I don't have this based in any solid fact right now. This is just my opinion, based on all the things I've been reading and listening to and talking to people about that are wired into the election in the Midwest. It is really trending to Biden winning Wisconsin. Doesn't mean he's going to. But if the Milwaukee vote came in and did put him ahead, it was going to be very tough because he was down about 100K. The outstanding ballots in Wisconsin reportedly are very high absentee and mail, which is very high Democratic. And someone asked me on the 20,000 votes. All right, so hold on one second. They just gave the Milwaukee vote dump. They promised it about an hour ago, but it takes some time. Police escort. Biden is pulled ahead in Wisconsin by 20,000. Let's see where he's at. Now it's like that's about 11,000. With 11% left. The odds have completely gone down. And I want to tell you, because you know I love odds. You check the latest. I'm getting some from Jason there. All right, so this is the thing. And I think this is fascinating. If you know that you follow me and you listen to me, you know that I love odds. Vegas and offshore sports books in Europe and all that stuff, their job is to create a line that's bettable, that will get action on both sides. Now, obviously, if it's like the Tigers to win the World Series and they're 100-1, the Tigers aren't going to win the World Series. Maybe this year because it was so crazy. But in a regular year, like the Marlins when they've sucked, or the Carolina Panthers when they were garbage a couple years ago, there's teams that just they're not going to win. But like if you're looking at the Lions, the Colts were a 3.5 point favorite, down to 2.5, back to 3.5. There was action on both sides. Vegas and offshore just wants to take the juice. They want to win as much as they can, but on both, beat the things in the middle. When it's come to this election tonight, and I was talking to a really good friend of mine, Philly Godfathers, longtime sports bettor, professional guy, and handicapper. The people running the sports books around the world tonight that have done live lines, like the Pinnacles and the Bovadas, etc., have been absolutely stupid. Now, some of them have helped their own cause by moving the line based on what was being bet. That's what you have to do. But some of them, they have algorithms and odds makers, and I've always loved talking to these people, had many of them on my shows in the past. They set a line that they think will be the most bettable. They also have to protect themselves. So Biden was minus 200 at the start of Election Day. He went all the way down to even money at one point around 8 or so o'clock. Then it went back up to 130, minus 130, minus 150, minus 180. So $180 wins you 100, like a 5.5 point NFL favorite. Then it went all the way down back to even again. Then it went as far up as Donald Trump minus 600, which means you lay $600 to win $100. That's like a 10 to 14 point NFL favorite, if not more. So that's, there's upsets, but pretty solid. Part of that was because a ton of people were betting money on the live line on Donald Trump because they saw the big leads in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. But unfortunately, and I say this with all due respect, a lot of these people were being stupid. They weren't following and listening to what common sense, like not opinionated reporting was, which is the red mirage, the huge numbers in certain states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin of in-person votes that were counted first because those three states weren't allowed to count mail-ins until today or yesterday. It's the reverse of what happened in Florida and North Carolina and Georgia to an extent. I'll explain Georgia in a second. So in Florida and North Carolina, they were able to count fast. So they got the mail-in ballots already counted because they counted them early. They were allowed to. Then, obviously, the in-person came in. Trump caught the margin. The same thing is happening now in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So all these bettors were looking, Trump's up 58 to 30. And they were hammering the line. So it went all the way up to 600. I just checked a second ago. And it is down to about 170. It was 300 before Wisconsin. So it's really close. It's like a 3-point spread in a football game. Biden has a lot of pass right now. Trump does. He has some too. But let's see. There's a lot more outstanding to come in from Wisconsin, which could give Biden enough to win. But this is the thing that's frustrating to me. Like I said, I don't want to. This is not a partisan thing, a discussion that we're talking about. I just want to talk about fact. But whether you're a Biden or Trump person, when the president of the United States uses the East Room in the White House, which is not supposed to be used for political things, and he comes out. By the way, there were like 2 people wearing masks that entire 200-person room. When he comes out and claims that he won when he didn't, and bitches about Texas not being as common when it hasn't been called yet. All that stuff. It's bad for our democracy because I've said this all night. And I think I can't imagine if you're someone that supports President Trump, which is totally fine if that's what you do. I told you, both sides, we have to respect both sides. Bill Maher said this many times. You can hate the candidate, but you can't hate the people who support that candidate. And that's part of the problem in this country. But I just will say this again, and I just don't think there's any other answer to this. There's one answer. If it was the reverse right now, and if you're a Trump supporter, and I did not take a nap time. If you're a Trump supporter and you were down in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and there were remaining absentee ballots that would probably skew your way, do you think that there's any chance you or Trump would want them not to be counted? So it's just, to me, this is not a political thing. This isn't a partisan thing. I don't care what side you're on. You can't move the goalpost to help yourself and only yourself. If the night was flipped and Florida and Georgia and North Carolina were the super slow counters, and Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin were the fast ones, and those states all went Biden, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, then you had, your only path to victory, if you're a Trump person, in Florida, Georgia, Arizona, whatever, and there were a ton of outstanding ballots, you wouldn't want those counted? There's no chance that that's not your answer. There's only one answer. Any legal, completely above board, legitimate ballot has to be counted. There's no other answer. It doesn't matter what side you're on. If each state's got different election laws. If you live in Pennsylvania and you got your ballot in today or postmarked today or 3 weeks ago and they haven't counted it yet, your ballot needs to be counted. There's no, we can't count that because election day is over. If you follow politics like I do, and maybe some of you don't, that's fine. You know that many states over 100 years of elections have taken weeks to come up with a winner. And no state certifies anything until December when the electors vote in the Electoral College. So anyone trying to, if they're supporting of the president, which is fine, because it goes both ways. If you're a supporter of President Trump, you can't say, stop the counting because election night is over. It doesn't work that way. And Trump actually won some states that took 2-3 weeks to count. The Senate race in Arizona last time in 2018 that Kristen Sinema won, that took like a month to finish. So there's no other discussion point other than every legal, legitimate vote. Not some, if they came in Michigan in 5 days count. If they're in legally, that's it. They're counted, and they will be counted. And if you're wondering, because I've been following the court cases, as far as I know, I don't think there's been any more the last day. There were GOP supporters, or not supporters, but GOP operatives that were bringing lawsuits in the state of Pennsylvania about their mail-in and absentee ballots. There were 6 different cases. They lost all 6 because judges aren't going to throw out legal ballots, even if they're big Trump supporters, or I guess never say never, but most legal jurisprudence people like judges and lawyers, etc., are not going to throw out and subvert the will of the people because they're scared of President Trump or anybody. So you got to count everything. And to be honest, counting everything might help Trump win. So that's where we're at. I will tell you, Georgia would be huge. And as we stand right now, by the way, Wisconsin, Green Bay's early votes remain outstanding. Green Bay's early votes remain outstanding, and they expect a lot of those to go Democratic. So I think Biden has a real chance to win right now in Wisconsin. And that changes the game. That just makes the path easier for him, and that Trump would have to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. I mean, it's really, really, really close right now. And it could take days. It could take 10 hours. I know that from what I've been told in Wayne County, there's a tremendous amount of outstanding vote, and that's heavily Democratic. And there was 20% better turnout, at least this time, than in 2016, when Wayne County was obviously super slow to count, and Hillary very underperformed what Obama had done in 12 and 8. So we will see what's going on. Let me see what they're saying. We're talking to Milwaukee right now. I want to hear this for a second.
We're basically on that. What about remaining outstanding vote in the other counties, ma'am?
We do not have that information. I can only report for Milwaukee County.
Do you have any scoop for us in terms of when we may find it out?
Ha!
I don't know, but
Right, so much coffee.
We're hoping that everything will be done within the next 3 hours.
Okay, so they're hopeful in Milwaukee in the next 3 hours. They're done. And by the way, if you're up, if you're having fun, if you're whatever, tell me what you're doing. You can use the chat. Yeah, so all votes in Milwaukee, it looks like. No, there's still some coming in, Don.
Your plan, the dirty word, irregularities, any to speak of?
No, there weren't any irregularities in Milwaukee County. We were anticipating finishing up tonight between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I think we're right on target with the 4 o'clock completion time.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So they are all in. They're all in.
There will be provisionary ballots, and the clerks have reported those. They should be on their website. They reported those to the state. Those ballots will be counted. They have until Friday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so there's still provisional ballots. Space Coat. Yeah, there's still provisional ballots to come, but I don't think it's going to be that many. But Biden has the lead right now in Wisconsin, and that's big news if you're a Biden supporter. Let me go back to the election odds right now via our friends at electionbettingodds.com. And if you're a Democrat, the Senate control is not looking good. But obviously the big prize. All right, so Trump is down to 56%. I know earlier he was up to like 70-something. Let's see, last day.
Right now. But thank you for giving us an unofficial number that we can help people understand the context of such an important piece of a major election.
The bottom line is the reason this is such an important Trump has gone down from 433 now to 5 a.m. from 70% to 57.4%, and actually now from 56%. This is one of my favorite sites by Max Amon and John Stossel. And in the last 4 hours, he's gone down to 12%. Biden's gone up 12%. So, all right, let me think about this.
Afterwards, every state kind of has different rules in terms of how the provisionals operate. But this is where we stand in Milwaukee County right now.
1 second, Peeps.
The lead has now shrunk for Joe Biden. It's now under 10,000 votes. I think we're kind of waiting to see. She just mentioned that Brown County should be coming in within the next hour.
Yeah, Brown County within the next hours. That's Green Bay, and that once again the mail-in ballots heavily Democratic.
Provisionals, just your short answer is, hey, you're sure you're here? You're not in the book. You know, your address doesn't match up. Fill out the ballot. We'll figure out if it's a legitimate one.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough provisional ballots to really matter. I mean, I don't know how many there are, but I'd be shocked if there was 5,000 provisional ballots.
Phil is right to focus on this part. Is this number too fragile to hold?
I don't know.
Hi. Is this number too fragile to hold? We don't know. Don, Gary Peters. Let me go back to the Michigan thing. And I will not name my source because I think they want to be anonymous. But I have a very good source in the news business who I talked to recently. The Trump lead in Michigan has shrunk to close to 200,000. It was way higher than that. And we are still waiting for Wayne. And we are still waiting for Kent and some other counties. Jennifer Granholm recently on air on CNN felt that she said she felt very confident that in the end, when every ballot was counted, Joe Biden would win Michigan. Of the 3 Midwest states, he's got the best chance in Michigan by all accounts. If he wins Wisconsin and Michigan, this election is over, as it stands right now. But if he wins Georgia, he needs just one of them. So, like I said, it's a toss-up. And I'll tell you this, if you see Biden win Wisconsin, like if they call it, I think you're going to see, even though the betting odds are so out of whack, you're going to see it go from Trump 160 whatever to Biden minus 160. So we'll see. A long way to go. There's still a real long way to go. Now it's down to 160 for Trump. So that's like a 4-point NFL favorite, 3-point NFL favorite. Nevada's still out there. Nevada hasn't been called yet, but it's trending to Biden. Let me check this out on the voting desk.
Brown County. Now, we have not gotten numbers in for several hours. We thought we were going to learn between.
Yeah, Biden is up by 0.3% in Wisconsin.
What we know is outstanding is at least 32,000 absentee mail-in ballots. Now, there are also some in-person ballots mixed in there, but this goes to exactly what we have been waiting to hear. What kind of ballots, just like Phil was saying, are these? And if they are absentee ballots, will they swing the way that we have seen the votes in Wisconsin and across the country swing?
Yeah, so there's a lot of outstanding absentee ballots, and Democrats have been winning those anywhere between 60% to 85%. So once again, it looks like Wisconsin is trending. If there was a New York Times needle for Wisconsin, it would probably be 80% Biden right now. So, let's see. One of the vote counting machines ran out of ink in Green Bay, so they had to return to City Hall to get more.
Ballots mixed in here too.
There are some day-up ballots too that could be Republican.
32,000 at least absentee ballots.
Let's see.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Appreciate it. So
it's Green Bay. It's Green Bay, but they're mail-in, and mail-in is heavily blue. So I'm just saying. All right, so this is via Nate Silver a little while ago. I believe it's the city of Green Bay specifically. I think both election day vote and absentees in Green Bay are uncounted, and the rest of the country is in. Green Bay nearly went Clinton in 2016. So the thought is that Biden is probably a pretty decent favorite right now to win Wisconsin. That's where we're at right now. There's no for sure, but it looks pretty good if you're a Biden supporter. See if the odds are moving there. Trump's still 56% there.
Wait and see mode when there's only 9,000 votes separating the two candidates on the presidential election is waiting in the wings. That's pretty darn important.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this election could come down to Michigan. It never has before, but it could literally come down to Michigan. Tim Russert, my man, the late great Tim Russert, Florida, 2000, he was right. This year, there was a lot of Florida, or Pennsylvania. This election might come down to Michigan because if Joe Biden wins Wisconsin and wins Michigan, he is going to win the presidency. That would put him over 270. If Arizona, which it looks like it's there, it's not to tell if Trump loses, like taking me.
In these Midwestern battleground states, right? There was that insult that came out on Saturday, right? And people like me were like, "Oh, that's strange."
Yeah, as far as I know, and listen, we're all up late, so I'm not. I was just from what I remember seeing and playing around with it. It looks like Arizona's been called by most networks. Nevada should go Biden. If those two go Biden, and he wins Wisconsin and Michigan, I believe that's enough. And Maine's out there too, but Maine should go Biden. So
don't say it is. I'm not. I can't say. If it's 9,000 votes, yeah, and I totally understand what Phil is saying and Kristen accentuated about the preference with mail-in ballots to Democrats.
Yeah, we see what Kornak is saying.
Arizona reports out in three groups of votes here. So
the last group in Arizona votes is supposed to be heavily Democratic. So they haven't called it yet on NBC, but the AP, ABC, or Fox News have all called. I think ABC actually has called Arizona for Biden.
So that's what they reported out first. And let's go to Maricopa County, which is kind of the ballgame in Arizona. And you can see here when that was reported in, Joe Biden's advantage over Donald Trump in Maricopa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it literally is a toss-up. I mean, if you want the sports analogy, we're in the fourth quarter with about 6 minutes left, and the Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks are tied at 86. That's kind of where we're at right now. Maybe Blake Griffin is healthy and goes on a 7-0 run. Maybe the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, goes on a 7-0 run himself. But that's where we're at right now. I'm actually going to tweet that. It's pretty good.
So you want to get a sense of how those are looking too. But again, if you're Biden and you're sitting here 6 points up in Maricopa County right now, again, this county is almost 2/3 of all of Arizona, just in terms of population, just a massive suburban kind of metro area right there. If Biden's able to hang on to that by a couple of points, that would put him in a very good position in Arizona.
Yeah, as we said last night, he's got to win Arizona to keep that run going and then hold on to the upper Midwest. Sorry to jump back across the map to you, but let's go to North Carolina, Steve, if you could. That was looking strong actually for Donald Trump near the end of the night last night. Where are we this morning?
Yeah, it hasn't been called yet. You see, Donald Trump leads this thing by just north of 75,000 votes. The issue in North Carolina is the ballots didn't have to be in by election day. If they were postmarked before election day in the mail, in transit, they still arrive like today, they will be counted. So we don't know. We don't know the exact number of ballots that are actually going to arrive in the next couple of days in North Carolina that were sent and postmarked before election day. So until you get a sense of what that is, nobody's going to be calling this, but you do see that is a fairly sizable number there for Donald Trump in the context of things.
All right, Steve, we'll be right back to you. Obviously, any news breaking out of Wisconsin, let us know, and we'll be right back to you.
While Joe Scarborough's on at 5 a.m.
In Arizona, Fox News called Arizona earlier in the evening last night for Donald Trump. The Associated Press early this morning followed, and obviously NBC News still waiting to do that. But talk about what's happening right now in Wisconsin and the impact that could have on the race.
Well, it's an extraordinarily tight race, of course, Joe. And let's actually quickly go back to Arizona for a moment. When the Fox News did call the state for...
Yeah, Fox News, by the way, was the first to call Arizona for Biden like a long time ago, 2-3 hours ago. And if you want to check it out, it's on my Twitter at DanLeach971. They actually brought on their election desk guy, the head of their election desk. Every network has one. And he literally used the words, like he basically, because Trump claimed, that they had won Arizona and that he was going to get 65% of whatever was left. And he said, no, there's no chance he's getting this. Basically said, no, we know we're not wrong. It was just, I don't care what side you're on. It was just crazy. Like the election guy's got to come out and basically refute the president who just come out in another possible super spreader event in the Eastern with 2 people wearing masks on a 200 and said, no, we won. When he had no basis of claiming they won. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, Don, it could come down to Wayne County. It could be the whole ball game.
Could then win Wisconsin and Michigan and not necessarily need Pennsylvania in order to get to that magic number, regardless of what happens with those states in the Southeast, Georgia and North Carolina, that are extraordinarily close and have yet to be called. And the Trump campaign right now, I've been talking to them all night long. They are, of course, as indicated, very angry with what happened in Arizona. And we should not overlook or understate what the United States did tonight from the White House.
Yeah.
The sitting president suggested that the ballots cast by voters in the United States should not be counted, and that he would take legal action, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, that's Jonathan Lemaire is a great reporter for the AP. He's basically saying that what Trump did when he came out and said that the ballots cast legitimately by American people should be counted, that it was just not only ridiculous, unprecedented, and absurd, that it was like a shot at democracy. I mean, it's crazy.
They still feel like the Trump campaign, that they feel good about the Southeast. They think they'll hang on there. And then they feel like the 3 states in the Great Lakes are very close. The Biden camp as well. They acknowledge it's close. But I just talked to a Biden advisor within the hour who says they feel like they can bring it home, even if it takes hours or even potentially a few days to get the final results.
Yeah, we're close. We are really, really close, man. This is just crazy.
NBC News follows the AP, and if the votes end up putting Joe Biden ahead for good in Arizona, as the Associated Press, Fox News, and others have projected, and if Nevada follows, well, then of course we're looking at Wisconsin, and if Donald Trump loses Wisconsin as he's doing right now, then Joe Biden is either a win in Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Georgia away from being over 270 electoral votes.
Yeah, I mean, it's Wisconsin. Michigan. It's. I mean, that's where we're at right now.
That will never happen. The same man who refused time and time again to guarantee
Just,
power.
Yeah, when you're a Democrat, election feels like a Lions game.
As president of the United States, his political opponent in the final weeks of the campaign and pressured his attorney general to issue an arrest. That man shattered another constitutional and political norm earlier this evening.
You know, America runs on a kind of faith, faith in basic institutions, faith in each other, faith that at the end of the day, there is a sense of fair play. There's a sense that the rule of law is, in fact, the controlling and prevailing force. That we're not a government of men, and certainly not of a single man, but of laws. And that is under fundamental assault and testing at this hour. The contrast this morning, couldn't have been any starker between the two competitors for the presidency.
Yeah, that's true.
We're old enough in time to talk about what these margins mean in terms of the character of people and the life of the nation. Right now, this is kind of an all-hands.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne County. Some of you are saying Wayne County. It's. I'm telling you,
even if you are,
it really could come down to Wayne County.
And you cast your vote, you should want every vote to be counted. The president has spun this narrative that the voting is still unfolding. You know, let's be very careful about our words here. He's saying that he's trying to create the impression that what Steve was just doing, what Willie was doing last night, is somehow reporting fresh information, fresh votes being counted.
You know, Michael Beschloss, who's a incredible presidential historian, is talking about how just what Trump did last night when he came out at, what was it, 2:30, around that time, and then claimed victory. That it's just that it's not up to the president. It doesn't work that way.
But there's no use looking to Trump for that. Looking for any kind of.
Yeah, we are just living in an absolutely bizarro world, and I feel for people on both sides. And I don't know, man. By the way, here is some breaking news. Huge news when it comes to Michigan. Biden's on the cusp of taking a lead in Michigan. It's down to 70,000 votes. It was over 200,000 earlier. And Wayne County only 53% in. Yep.
At no point in American history has it all been done on election.
Wow. Yeah, this is, I'm telling you, man, I think, and like I said, I want this to not be a partisan thing, and this is obviously just my opinion. I think this thing is trending to Biden winning the presidency. You know, we'll see if I'm right. I could definitely be wrong. But when you look at all the different data points and the paths for each candidate, it is really looking like Joe Biden is going to be the president. But, you know, we could be in for prolonged legal battles. Counts could change. But if you're, let me just put it this way. If I didn't care about either side, if you're someone that doesn't care about either side and you're just looking from 10,000 feet down and you're like, who would I rather be right now at 519? I would say the high majority of disassociated from the campaign people would want to be Joe Biden right now. Now, that's my opinion. You might disagree with me. It's fine. But looking at the fundamentals, looking at the counts coming in, the reverse of what happened in Florida and North Carolina and some other states earlier, if I was someone that didn't care about either side and was just looking at the ability to win, I'd rather be Biden right now for sure. I mean, that's the truth. That's whether you're a Trump. I mean, if you're a Trump person, maybe you disagree with that. But if you look at what's going on, you know, all the votes, legal votes are going to be counted. Biden's about to take the lead like Trump did in Florida. Biden had a lead in Florida for a while. Biden had a lead in North Carolina for a while. when they counted the same day votes, Trump caught it up. That's why he went from an underdog to a huge favorite. The same thing's happening in Wisconsin and in Michigan. And
Mexico is going to pay for, or he makes other grandiose claims. The president understands that.
yeah, I think, and this is the thing, and this is the other very important scenario, I believe, when it comes to how you feel about either side. Like if you're a Trump person, you think it's being fraudulently stolen, or if you're a Biden person, you think that obviously all the votes should be counted. I can tell you right now, there's no legal ground for the president and his lawyers to try to get legal ballots thrown out. And even if it had gone to, let's say it goes to the Supreme Court, yes, there's a 6-3 conservative favorite or a majority in there with Amy Coney Barrett getting in. But if a case was brought to them that was so clear that Biden won and that the Trump campaign was just trying to get legal ballots thrown out, and they ruled in the Trump campaign's favor, our democracy would be dead. I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, if there's illegal ballots, and they're provable that they're illegal or they're too late or whatever, or the signatures don't match up, that's fine. But if they were legal ballots and the Trump campaign literally just said, we don't want them counted because we want to win, which obviously is not the way they would say it out loud, and the Supreme Court ruled in their favor, if they were legal ballots, we're done. We're no longer a democracy or a constitutional republic. We're a banana republic. And it's not going to happen. That's why even in some conservative GOP leading areas and courts in Pennsylvania, there have been 6 court cases that I know of, and the Democrats have won all 6 because they were insane. It'd be like saying, all right, the sky is green. No, it's not. It's blue. No, it's green. And try to have someone side with you saying it's green. Oranges aren't orange. They're really black. No, oranges are orange. That's how crazy it is. Let's read some comments here. One. No, I didn't name the wrong historian, my friend. It was Michael Beschloss. I love that guy. Let's see. If you tell a lie, the sycophants will file. It's been amazing. Yeah. I'll tell you this. It's crazy because they're going to study whether you support the president or not. They're going to study the people that have and why they have for decades. It is such a study in sociology and anthropology and psychology. They're going to study it for decades.
Both sides were expecting Democrats to pick up probably between 5 and 8 seats. And both sides suggested, well, if it's a really good night for Democrats, that number could be in the double digits. Nobody was talking about Republicans actually gaining seats in the House. And while we've got a long road to get out all the votes on that level and to make the calls here at NBC, it's likely that at the end of the day, Republicans are going to pick up some seats. Democrats, we've already projected, are going to hang on to control.
That's just a crazy time we're living in. Crazy time. You're correct. In a civilized society, this election should be this close. We could get a Wisconsin call soon. I don't even, and Donna, I appreciate this comment. Of course, I'm keeping this going all night. I'm not going to sleep. Come on, man. This is history. I've loved this stuff since I was a kid. I used to watch the election returns going back to Reagan in 84 when I was 7. It's very nice of you, Tom. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm not like a super expert or anything, but I pride myself on knowing this stuff. And I think I know a lot about this. I'm not always right about everything. But that's why I'm doing this, because I'm not trying to – this is not a political thing. I'm not a political host. I just want to tell you where we're at on both sides. I mean, if there's Trump news that comes in, I'll give you Trump news. If there's Biden news comes in, I'll give you Biden news. I just want to talk about where we're at factually, Oh, cool AP map. Send me a link to that AP map, will you, Tom? I'd like to see the AP map. I haven't had that up. I have all these other websites. You should see I wish I could show you. I mean, I always have stupid amounts of windows open. I think in this little thing alone, I have 5 different sets of windows. I think I have like 25 in this one. I think I have like 50 windows up right now. It's ridiculous. Don, you said I don't believe that even the most conservative of Supreme Court justices would allow themselves to be known in history for the next couple centuries, those election riggers. I'm 100% with you. I'm still upset about what happened in 2000. They should never have rejected themselves. You should always count more, not count less. But they learned a lesson from that, and I don't think that any Supreme Court justice that is literally deserving of even putting a robe on would ever single-handedly help rig an election and not count legal ballots. I know that some people are freaked out. That's why they pushed in Amy Coney Barrett. So I was part of the Trump strategy. That's fine, whatever. And we all know the hypocrisy of Lindsey Graham, who won. He actually beat Jamie Harrison pretty badly. South Carolina is a very red state, but it's amazing to me because you just think about the fact that you push through a nominee that 4 years ago, Lindsey Graham said, use my words against me. We should not be putting in a nominee in an election year. And that was in February of 2016, 8 months out. But yet now we're like 60 days or 30 days out, and it's totally fine now. So, Democrats, let's just be honest, are always trying to be morally correct and do the right thing, while Republicans a lot. I'm just saying this, this is an honest thing. They're trying to figure out how to win, and they don't care about the morality of things. So we all know the hypocrisy, but aside from that, whether it's a Coney Barrett or a Kavanaugh, whoever it is, if they literally completely subverted the will of the people and legally binding and official ballots that had no issues, that were in on time, that were counted correctly, et cetera, then, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen either, Don. You never say never, because we're living in this era of Trump, which is completely against any norms we've had for 244 years or whatever. But if somehow the election was turned to the Supreme Court because they stopped counting of legitimate ballots, then we're done as a democracy. We're done. And I don't think that I'm not that hopeless. I don't think that they're that sinister. John Roberts has ruled, including with Obama, the ACA, Obamacare case. They've ruled legally. Not, yes, against for abortion rights or gun control or other things. That's why you have a court, it's conservative majority, etc. But when it comes to the simplest and most basic rule of law, one man, one woman, one vote, legally binding, etc. If they tried to take that away just to swindle the election, then we're truly doomed. Then Rome is completely fallen. And I don't think it's going to happen. Now, hopefully we don't have to get to that point, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that we're that far gone yet. So that's where I'm at with that. Hold on a second.
Meet the Ninja Foodie Air Fry Oven. Make family-sized meals fast. And because it's Ninja Foodie,
I want to see the odds. Like I said, the bookmakers have been doing a very bad job, but that's because this is such a unique event. Let's see. Yep. All right. This like I said, this would happen. Joe Biden's now the favorite. Joe Biden has taken a lead in the betting odds, which I said are just a guide. I'm telling you, and I've said this for a long time, Joe Biden is going to win this election. Did you send me that link? Let's see. Where's that AP Matt? Hey, what's up, Michael? Thank you. You sure just gained a subscriber. I appreciate that. Thanks. There we go. I don't know if it's going to let me do that. No, I don't think it will. I got to tweet this. The over-under has to be pretty damn thin. Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's a huge development.
Taking Ozempic with sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Common side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and constipation.
Yeah, Joe Biden is. Hold on.
You may pay as little as $25 for a 1-month or 3-month prescription.
Gotta just tweet this out for a second.
Today, about once weekly Ozempic. Still your best friend. And now your co-pilot. Still a father, but now a friend. Still an electric car, just more electrifying. Still a night elf, but everything fits in. Still hard work, just always you. Still a legend, just more legendary. Chevrolet, making life's journey just better. Find your rhythm, your happy place. Find your breaking point. Then break it. Every emergency gives you a potent blend of nutrients, so you can emerge your best with emergency.
Hello, I'd like to tell adventure of my pillow.
All right, it was like 11 o'clock, 6.
The fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you know, my pillow created thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well rested in the morning.
That's why I invented my pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress topper sheets and so much more. For example, you can get Omni pillows regularly $89.99, only $29.99 with your promo code. With our 60-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose.
All right, so thanks for that shorter link. Let me see if I can get the AP map here.
Hey, welcome back to Morning Show. We were earlier. We're going to go to Steve Kornacki in 1 second.
All right, here's Steve Kornacki too.
We covered a lot last night on Peacock, over 6 hours. But one or two things that bear repeating this morning. When it comes to the expectations of yesterday's election, the Democrats got crushed. They got crushed in expectations of the Senate, in the House,
Yep.
and yes, even the race for the White House. Especially if you look at all those public polls, a lot of them that we had been skeptical of. But I want to underline a point this morning that Casey touched upon. It wasn't just the public polls. It was Republicans' internal polls. It was Republican congressional candidates' internal polls. The Republican Senate candidates' internal polls, and the RNC's own polling. We had said early in the evening that the White House, people at the White House had all but given up on Michigan some time ago and thought that Wisconsin was out of reach. We're going to be within thousands of votes. So it shows you, again, there's going to be, of course, fear and loathing and tears and the gnashing of teeth, but this was a bipartisan failure as well as a public polling failure. But once again, the polls and the entire political world in Washington, D.C. and New York totally missed the scale.
Yeah, I think Joe Scarborough's making a fair point here that
It's more stunning than it was in 2000.
yeah, there's just it's crazy how close things are.
We've heard again and again from these pollsters that they recalibrated, that they learned.
Yeah, the pollsters did not learn anything, it seems like.
What's right. I mean, Joe, there was a poll from a major news organization last week that had Joe Biden up 17 points.
Yeah, 17 points.
At it in real time on the air, 17 points in the state of Wisconsin. But even the average, we thought that was outlier.
Yeah, polling is going to have to be done, and obviously it's a COVID year. It's crazy, so that added parts of it. But polling has got to totally rethink itself. It's just completely off.
In the state of Wisconsin, pushing up to 10,000, with some of the votes still out there. So yeah, the polling wasn't even close. And as you say, a lot of it is internal. Did Lindsey Graham really think he was going to beat Jamie Harrison by double digits? Absolutely not.
It's crazy.
He was fighting for his life every day. Every time he went on TV, he was asking for money. He was giving out the name of his website because he was so worried about it. Well, he wins absolutely going away. And even when you talk to the Trump campaign, their argument that this thing still could be close in spite of the polling was, they'd say, well, we don't really believe the polls, but frankly, their heart didn't sound in it.
Yeah.
Like a last last-ditch excuse that they were going to use.
Just crazy, man. We are in.
It was absurd. You look at Wisconsin again, a 17-point poll.
Yeah, there was a poll, like a legitimate news organization, that had Biden up 17 in Wisconsin. I mean, it looks like Biden has a really good chance to win Wisconsin, but that's crazy. And then the Democrats with like an 80% chance to take the Senate, and it looks like they're going to lose some seats in the House. It's just we live in such a insane time politically in many other ways.
Here we are, where we in Arizona,
Just crazy.
Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Georgia, in North Carolina, we have one close race after another, and nowhere is.
Yeah, Biden's maintaining a -1, so Biden's like a 1.5 point NFL team favorite right now. You know, it's like a pick'em game.
What's going on?
All right, let's see what Kornacki's going to say about Nevada.
Remember, this is a state Clinton won in 2016 that Trump.
Yeah, very close to Nevada, by the way. It's gotten a lot tighter.
Statewide, Nevada has now fallen under 10,000 votes.
Under 10,000 in Nevada.
Close to where Wisconsin is in the raw vote. And of course, Nevada, small states, that's even closer when you start looking at the difference between the candidates there percentage-wise. The key here in Nevada, of course, Clark County, Las Vegas. This is the bulk of the state here. Now, a lot of the voting.
Hey, Tom used to be a telemarketer. Yeah, and I think you're right. And Tom brings up a great point about polling. You know, Trump people lie. They don't want. There's shy Trump voters. There's some shy Biden voters in red states. We definitely need a new polling system. And I think, like I said, I think there's three things at play here. One of them is it's this crazy COVID year, all these mail-in ballots, etc. Two, people don't have telephone lines anymore unless they have a cell. I mean, landlines used to be the way to do it. And three, we live in just this different era with social media, how ads are disseminated, how you're able to see a political ad on Facebook, the Russians, you know, getting involved in our election, that radiance. So I think that's kind of, it's all this confluence of events that make polling not irrelevant, but almost irrelevant. So, you know, and Don saying how many undecideds are actually undecided. I mean, not like there were in 92 when you had the Perot people and, you know, the Bush people, the Clinton people, not like there was in 08 with Obama and McCain. I don't think that there really are undecideds. There's right and left, and then people that can be swayed, but it's very, very thin. Yeah, and Michael, this is a great point too, and I've been preaching this forever. It's all about mutual respect. It all comes back to mutual respect for everyone. And I've said this for a long time, and I'll quote what Bill Maher said for a long time. You can hate Trump, you can hate Biden, you can hate Sarah Palin. I mean, I don't like the word hate. I don't like to hate anybody myself. But you can dislike candidates all you want. You can't hate the people that support them. Because if you hate everyone that supports them, like, let's be honest, whether you're a Trump or Biden person, the Trump caravan's trying to scare Biden voters. I mean, what's that? That's not America. If you don't find a way to find common ground with those that differ with you politically, we're never going to get anything done. Because then the candidates themselves are going to be divisive. And that's why, you know, we need someone that can unite us. And if you're a Trump person, maybe you think that's that guy. I don't think we need someone like Trump to be the uniter. And whether you like Biden or not, we need someone that can unite us. Trump is not doing that. He's dividing us. It's the bottom line. It's all about, as you said, Michael, mutual respect for each other. Now, I've been giving you the New York Times needle all night. It's incredibly accurate. And it's tilting Biden 64%. Tons of Atlanta votes still out. I got that AP map in front of me. Biden by 0.2 in Wisconsin. Trump leads by 5 in Michigan, but there's actually, is that recent? I don't think they've updated the AP map yet, so let me see where we're at 5:38.
Did you try it?
Let's see where we're at here.
That'll save you money. So, Mark, open enrollment ends December 7th. Comparing plans really pay.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
fastest, smoothest.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying final results could take days. Let's see where we're at.
The only thing stronger than us is you.
12 distinct flights.
Quarter mile of tinsel.
Real snow all the way from Switzerland.
It'd be tough to top.
Yeah, I mean, it's really close, man. It's really close.
Exceptional offers now. Hello, I'm Mike Goodell, inventor of Mind Jello. Thanks to your
Yeah, it's really, really close. I mean, it's gonna hinge on a lot of counting. That's where we're at right now. A lot of counting. All right, let's see. Sounds like we're gonna get results soon in Green Bay. It really looks like Biden is gonna win Wisconsin, but that's obviously not done yet. Nevada ballots postmarked by election day must arrive by November 10th. So still time for more ballots in Nevada. You would think those are all heavily Democratic. The Nevada Supreme Court refused the Republicans' request to throw out some ballots in Nevada. So they're going to keep counting. Yeah, this could take a while. Yeah, very, very minimal lead in Nevada for Biden. But the math is looking good for him in Michigan and Wisconsin. It's amazing. If the Wisconsin margin continues, it'll be the fourth time in the last 6 presidential elections the state was decided by less than 1 percentage point. It's so close. So 7,000 vote lead in Wisconsin. 7,000 vote lead. Yeah, eighth of a 10%, 8th of a 10% in Nevada. Yeah, this is, and hopefully this doesn't turn into Bush versus Gore times 10, because that would be so bad for the market, so bad for the country, and we'll have to see what happens. You know, Trump's not going to give up. All right, so I am gonna go. Throw out any more questions before I go. I'm gonna come back out. I'm not going to bed anytime soon, so I'll come back out in maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes if anything happens. But any other questions, let me know. Where we're at right now, Nevada extremely close. Arizona's Biden's. Hawaii's Biden's. It looks like Georgia is definitely still in play as they count the votes there. New York Times needle, which I love, as it pointing towards leaning Biden. Michigan's trending in Biden's direction. Wisconsin looks like Biden is about to win it. Pennsylvania, Trump has a decent lead there. And then obviously North Carolina, he's got a decent lead there. So this is going to come down to, it could be 30, 40, 50,000 votes. Who knows? Yeah, so let me check the betting lines one more time. And like I said, the betting lines aren't what they were in normal situations. Yeah, Biden's still minus 125. That's like a $70 swing. About 30 minutes ago, Trump was minus 160, and now Biden is minus 125. So it would be like Trump going, let's use a football analogy. It'd be like Michigan being a 5-point favorite, 4-point favorite over whomever. And now it went from that to the other team being like a 2-point favorite. So that's a pretty big swing. It's a big swing. All right, anything else before I go? I'll be back. I love you all. Appreciate the discussion. It's been fair. We have people that care about both sides. I just want to talk about the facts that are going on now and where we're at in this election as a country. I appreciate it. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be up all night. I mean, it's already 5:44. I'll be up all day. So stay with me. I'll be back. Love y'all. Peace, sticks.